I will do everything I can to extend the solvency of Social Security and expand benefits for people who desperately need them.
Unemployment rate is now down below 5% at 4.8%. Let me just repeat that. Today's report has the unemployment rate down to 4.8%, a significant improvement from when I took office and a sign that our recovery is moving forward, even in the face of a COVID pandemic. That improvement was widespread. Unemployment for Hispanic workers was down, and the unemployment rate for African Americans fell almost a full percent, and it's now below 8% for the first time in 17 months. A drop of 496,000 in long-term unemployment is the second largest single-month drop since we started keeping records. The largest was in July. So in the past 3 months, we've seen a drop of 1.3 million long-term unemployed. That's the largest 3 months fall in long-term unemployment since we started keeping records in 1948. More to do, but great progress. And working Americans are seeing their paychecks go up as well. In September, we saw one of the largest increases in average wages paid to workers working Americans on record. Today's report comes one day after the Labor Department found in the third quarter of this year, the number of layoffs and job reductions was the lowest in this country since 1997. Overall, the unemployment report shows almost 200,000 jobs were created last month, over 300,000 in the private sector, and 26,000 in manufacturing, offset by some seasonal adjustments in education hiring. The monthly totals bounce around, but if you take a look at the trend, it's solid. On average, 600,000 new jobs created every month since I took office. And in 3 months before I got there, that was 1/10 what was
dangerous and risky partisan game. And I am glad that their brinksmanship did not work. What is needed now is a long-term solution, so we don't go through this risky drama every few months.
And you saw Joe Manchin's face behind him was just classless. Senator Chuck Schumer coming out swinging, slamming Republicans, even after they helped him clear a key hurdle to raise the debt ceiling. Here to react, Republican Senator from Florida, Rick Scott. Senator, are you on the Lindsey Graham camp where you never should have gave in? Are you with the others that said, where Mitch McConnell said, let's just give in and give him a too much extension?
Well, let's look at what happened. I think what was important is the American public see exactly what happened. Democrats raised the debt ceiling to about $29 trillion. And think about this. They raised it by $480 billion just for 2 months. That means they're spending, what, $3 trillion more per year than when we collect?
So everybody, a new round of stimulus payments is going out, but only to some Americans that meet the eligibility requirements. I want to see President Biden send out the fourth stimulus check before the end of the year. I believe that he should keep his promise to the American people and send out more stimulus payments. If you guys agree that President Biden should send out the fourth stimulus check very soon, then let's get this video to 1,000 likes. And don't forget to keep watching this video because I'll be discussing the most important stimulus check information, as well as the daily news. First things first, everybody, you have to know this. Many people are urging Democrats and Republicans to send out fourth round stimulus checks. But some people can expect another round of payments depending on where they're located in the country. There are many states where Americans may receive another round of stimulus checks. The payments are coming for each state's individualized budgets. And as Yahoo reports, many of these state governors push for state-level stimulus checks for residents. So the amount of stimulus check money that you receive differs from each state. By the way, everybody, has your governor sent out a state stimulus check? We know that in some states like Texas, California, and even Florida, the governors have given their citizens a state stimulus payment. But has your state done the same, everybody? Tell me in the comments below. Because I believe that they should. If they want to get people back to work and they want to help other people. Because I believe that if the federal government, as well as the state government, wants to help out the country, they must do the most important thing and send out state stimulus checks. So everybody in the state of Texas, it actually does not have an actual crisis economic relief program. Instead, local school districts are giving employees stimulus checks, as known as retention bonuses. In Dallas, for example, the stimulus checks are worth up to $2,000 total. And educators will get up to $500 with a 2% pay raise. That's a lot of money, folks. The state of Tennessee is also going to provide its full-time teachers with $1,000 stimulus checks and the part-time teachers with $500 payments. And New Mexico also provided 4,000 low-income individuals with state stimulus checks of up to $750. The program sent a total of $5 million in payments, everybody. So in Florida, educators are receiving $1,000 stimulus checks for their deduction to teaching during the crisis. Florida is also giving out $1,000 stimulus checks to police officers, firefighters, and paramedics too. So it only makes sense, everybody, if President Biden does what he authorized and sends out more stimulus payments to the American people. It definitely must happen. If you guys agree, then let's get this video to 1,000 likes. Let's go over more stimulus check information that I want you to know. So the prospect of a government shutdown has many Americans nervous, especially those who depend on federal benefits to help pay their bills, buy necessities, and also obtain health care. But with only a patch extending the current debt limit, President Biden warned that another no vote could push the US closer to defaulting on loans and going into a recession. It's especially worrying for SNAP recipients. Now, protections are in place to ensure the distribution of SNAP benefits during a shutdown will continue for the short term. But if the government shutdown happens for a while, then with no debt ceiling increase, it would severely limit the government's ability to borrow money and fund the program. But there are exceptions. For example, the SNAP program would continue to operate even after the shutdown. That plan covers just a few days after a shutdown begins. If the shutdown stretches for couple of weeks or more, then the government would need to impose a sharp, massive spending reduction. And all of that's kind of nonsense, everybody. The president must realize that American people are still in need of financial assistance, as stimulus checks must be sent out as soon as possible. So, Representative Ro Khanna had a suggestion for President Biden. The suggestion was to have Senator Joe Manchin and Bernie Sanders sit in the same room and try to cut down on a deal for the Democrats' social spending program. According to Ro Khanna, once they do it, it'll almost certainly satisfy the moderate and liberal wings of the Democratic caucus. Right now, everybody, Joe Manchin and Senator Sanders are far apart on their price tags and have different ideas on what the country needs. But everybody, let's get the facts straight. A state stimulus checks as well as federal stimulus payments are definitely necessary. If you guys agree, then let's get this video to 1,000 likes.
Now, on a related matter, Washington Democrats are behind closed doors trying to hammer out a multi-trillion-dollar reckless taxing and spending spree. But we already know a lot about this bill. First and foremost, we know their reckless legislation would hurt American families and actually help China. It's that simple, inflicting pain on American workers and families while putting us at a global disadvantage. Just look at the radical climate policies Democrats have packed into the spree to satisfy their far-left base. The apples haven't fallen far from the awful Green New Deal. In the name of clean energy performance, Democrats want to force